Hello everyone, welcome back to Awesome Crafter. I'm Lisa. Today we're going to be using our cricut and self-adhesive vinyl, and we're going to make a cute design that we're then going to use to personalise one of these scrapbooks which I've recently purchased from Hobbycraft. To get started with this project, we're going to be using a standard grip mat, a weeding tool and a burnishing tool. We're going to use some scissors, a ruler, some transfer tape and some self-adhesive vinyl. We're also going to be using a Cricut maker. You, however, can use any cutting machine that you have, and we're also going to be using our fine point blade. So to prepare our design ready for cutting, we're going to head over into Design Space and get on with designing it. Now we're over into Design Space and onto our canvas, we are going to select a design that we wish to use. So we're going to go to Uploads and we're going to go to Upload Images and go to Browse. As you can see here, I've got a file and I'm going to go for a camping theme for my scrapbook today, and I'm going to choose the one here that says Making Memories, and it's going to say one campsite at a time. So I'm just going to select that one and click on Open, and there you can see what the design looks like, and that's the correct one. So we're just going to click on Upload. Now we've uploaded it, you can see that it's now appeared in the recent uploads, so we're going to select that. And as you can see now, it's popped a green box around it, so you know that that's the one that you've selected. And we're going to click on Add to Canvas. Ooh, now you can see on there, that's a pretty big design. Now it's on our canvas, we need to head back over to our scrapbook, and we're just going to measure the size of the front of the book to make sure that our design is going to fit on it. I'm just going to take my ruler and we're just going to measure. Now we need to allow for the fact that there's a ribbon that's going to tie it all together. So here I've got a maximum of 7 inches and I've got 8 inches high. So now that's measured and I've got my measurements, we're going to head back into Design Space and we're going to alter the size of the image of the design on our canvas. So up here in the size boxes, I need to change the width, and I had 7 inches, but I think I'm just going to go for 6, and that's going to give me quite a bit of room. As you can see, because the padlock is locked, it changed the height, keeping it in proportion. So I made that almost, so it made that almost 6 as well. I think that's going to fit nicely on the front of my scrapbook. Now we are happy with that. As you can see over here, there are several different cuts that it's going to do. So whilst it's all selected, I'm just going to click on Attach, and that will attach all the design together to make sure that when we send it over to the Cricut for cutting, it's going to cut it all out as one solid piece. So now we are just going to click on Make It. And as you can see, there's our design, and it's all going to be cut out as one piece. As it's self-adhesive vinyl, we don't need to mirror it, so that's fine. Now we can just click on Continue. Now we're ready to select the material that we're going to use. I'm using self-adhesive vinyl, and I have used this vinyl before, so I know that it's going to cut out just fine. If, however, you are using a new material that you haven't used before, or a new vinyl that you're trying out, it is recommended that you do a small test cut in the corner before you cut the whole design out, just to make sure that the settings you have chose are the right ones for the type of vinyl that you're trying to cut. So I'm going to select premium vinyl, and I always like my pressure to be more, and now that's all set and ready. We are now ready to head back over and prepare our mat for cutting. I'm going to remove the protective film from our mat, and then we need to take our self-adhesive vinyl and we need to secure it into the corner. It is important to note that where the design is positioned, when it shows you it on the mat in Design Space, that is how it's going to cut it out on your real mat when you send it to be cut. So you must make sure that your vinyl is positioned in the same place to make sure that it cuts the vinyl and doesn't actually just cut the mat. So now we've got our vinyl adhered to our mat, we're going to pop it in to the maker, and we're just going to press the flashing arrow button, and that's going to load it. As we've already selected the material and the pressure that we're going to be using, we just need to press the flashing Cricut button and it will begin cutting. Now that our design has all been cut out, we're now ready to eject our mat, and we do this by pressing the flashing arrow button. Now we need to remove the vinyl from the mat, and to do this I'm going to flip over my mat and I'm going to carefully remove the mat from the vinyl, as this will prevent it from curling. The mats really are quite durable, so don't worry too much, they're not going to snap. And we can set that to the side. Now we've got our design, we need to cut off any excess vinyl, as this will save time with weeding and will also save vinyl for a future project. Now we've done that, we now need to take our weeding tool and we're now going to weed away any excess vinyl, just leaving our design behind that we're going to pop on the front of our scrapbook. I'm going to get on with doing the weeding and I shall see you back here when I've done it. Now all our design has been weeded, we now need to take the transfer tape, and what we're going to do now is we're going to cover our design in the transfer tape and we're going to burnish it really well so that all our design transfers over onto the tape. The good thing about transfer tape is if you have any excess pieces, or even when you've used the piece, you are able to remove it and stick it back onto the backing paper, and you are able to use it again for another couple of projects. So now I'm going to burnish this really well onto our transfer tape to make sure all the design transfers over. And then once we've done that, we're just going to flip it over and we're going to remove the backing paper. And as you can see, that's going to leave our design on our transfer tape. If there's any little pieces that aren't stuck down enough, just like that, then all we're going to do is just burnish it a little bit more and that'll help stick it on. Now our design is all transferred over onto our transfer tape. We're now ready to position it on the front of our scrapbook. We need to do this really carefully, making sure that we get it quite central, because we don't want the design to stick down too soon and be in the wrong position. When you're happy with the position of your design, again, we're just going to use our burnishing tool and we're just going to burnish it on to make sure that all the vinyl sticks to the front of the scrapbook. Once it's all been burnished onto the front, we now need to carefully and slowly remove the transfer tape. I like to do this by starting in the corner and keeping the transfer tape as low down to the design as possible, and taking it nice and slowly. Again, if there's any little bits like that A that haven't burnished on, then you can just go ahead and just rub them down a little bit more. Now we've removed all our transfer tape, I'm just going to pop that back on the backing paper to save for a future project. And there we have our completed scrapbook. I think they make excellent little gifts and you can personalise them in many different ways. And it's a super little straightforward project using your Cricut machine and self-adhesive vinyl. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I really look forward to seeing you in my next one. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye for now.